All right, so today we're going to talk about disability versus inability. And what we're going to talk about is why the words disability and inability are two different things. How one doesn't mean the other. The reason we're going to do that is because I, like many people, have a disability. I believe that it took me a long time to be open and honest with people about this, because the way it's viewed. See, when you say the word disability, what people oftentimes hear is the word inability. I have an inability. I have an inability to do anything, which is why you think I get a Social Security check. So, if I say I have a disability, people assume, oftentimes, because they live in some sort of fucking magical fantasy world where, in their United States of America, anyone diagnosed with a disability automatically gets a governmental check and just has everything handed to them. Somebody's waiting on them hand and foot. They don't have to do anything. There's just a crowd of people throwing fucking tax dollars at all these things that are happening, services, their health care, things of this nature, their schooling, all this special applications and money being spent. It's just a crowd of taxpayers. As soon as doctors like, you're disabled, bam, just mob of people shows up and starts throwing tax dollars. Looks like a fucking Monopoly board factory explosion. This is not the case. This is not the reality of the situation. I don't know how you became so fucking delusional that you just assume that the society you live in, where you think that the word disability means worthless, is funded. Because America is built upon capitalism. We do not rally around funding worthless things, do we? However, the repercussions of this are played out every day. I understand that I'm a little bit of a unique scenario. I have a YouTube channel, quite a bit of videos with me interacting with local government officials and police officers and things of this nature. I'm a very strong advocate for accountability and transparency in my government and police department and various boards and commissions that are, in bed with real estate companies and things of this nature. So I get a lot of trolls. Trolls basically, why don't I get a job and do this and that and the other? And their logic is because I have identified that I'm diagnosed with an intellectual or developmental disability known as Asperger's. I've identified that I'm diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. So oftentimes I have a difficult time dealing with external stress and anxiety. Crowds are not my thing. So it's just automatically assumed that because I've used these terminologies that I'm some sort of recipient of governmental assistance, and I get a monthly check, and that's why I have time to do all this useless stuff, like give a shit about anything that happens with the people that everybody's voting for, and give a shit about anything that's happening with the tax dollars, who's actually wasting them, who's actually getting your fucking tax dollars, who's actually really, if you want to get fucking technical about it, a bunch of welfare recipients. So it's, if you really want to know, I think politician is what should be synonymous with inability to fucking do anything else. Unable to have any fucking worth at all, that you basically have to have a special position provided for you where you just fucking waste taxpayers' money. That's a politician. That's not a disabled person. That's your suit and tie motherfuckers downtown. But you think it's me because I tell you that I have Asperger's. But it's not me because I'm not worthless. You see, and that's what the fuck you're saying. Is it's when you assume that somebody who has a disability is worthless, it's pretty fucking obvious. You know what I mean? It's not hard to figure out what you're saying. That you assume automatically that this person is less than you, is unable to do anything. Because 9 times out of 10, you 40, 50, 60 hours, depending on how much pride you put into the shit, of some mundane task, likely. The more time and the more time you put into a job and the more money you make from it, the more likely you are to be just fucking pressing buttons or pulling levers. I know people that make like fucking $25 an hour doing some shit at a factory that literally a fucking monkey could do. But there's too many rules for a monkey to be able to do it. A child could do it. Too many rules for that. So somebody's going to do it for the next 40 years for 60 fucking hours a week, and basically, you know what those tax dollars are paying for? They're not paying my bills. No, they're paying for those big houses that you see your local politicians living in. They're paying for bombs that you see dropping all over the fucking country, all over the planet. They're not paying for water in Flint. They didn't pay for anything that happened in Puerto Rico. They didn't pay the California inmates that were fighting the wildfires anything more than like $2 a day or some shit. So, just so we're clear, my Asperger's is not an excuse for you to disassociate from where all this fucking money's going. It doesn't go to the disabled community. It doesn't go to the mental health community. It doesn't go to a lot of the communities that need it. I don't know where the fuck it's at. The Pentagon loses trillions of dollars every time they, have some sort of big scene happen where they can rally all the American people around fucking, your watch Family Guy, Lois Griffin bullshit, 9/11. That's what they do to you. It's that simple. National security, economic development. They just hit you with a couple fucking keywords and you trigger into throwing money at these motherfuckers. But it doesn't go to me. It doesn't go to me. And the money they take from you, that doesn't go to me. That doesn't go to me either. Just because I have Asperger's doesn't mean the money that the government steals from your fucking stupid weak ass goes to me. Just because I have PTSD doesn't mean that the money that you willingly give these motherfuckers goes to me. You know where the fuck it goes. It goes to these motherfuckers having big ass pools in their backyards. It goes to these motherfuckers driving BMWs. It goes to these motherfuckers dropping bombs over brown and black fucking countries for their resources. So, just so we're clear, it's offensive. It's offensive when you assume that I have a disability and that means that I'm the reason. I'm not the reason. You're the reason. You're fucking weak. You're weak and you let the government take your fucking money and then they piss it away on whatever the fuck they want. I'm not one of their priorities. So, disability does not mean inability. Because I have plenty of abilities. I'm not going to rattle off a fucking list, but, I do all kinds of shit. It's shit that literally nobody else can do, nobody else wants to fucking do half the time, with paperwork. I love an office setting. But I'm not the reason that your fucking money's missing. I'm not the reason that your fucking roads are crumbling. I'm not the reason that your infrastructure's falling apart. I'm not the reason that they GMO all your fucking food. I'm not the reason that gas prices is high. I'm just different. You know what I mean? When I say I have a disability, what I really mean is that I don't have time for you to fucking dance around the conversation with hints. I don't have time to fucking waste on your fucking pretentious bullshit with being polite and courteous and talking about a bunch of fucking shit that doesn't fucking matter, like the weather or Kim Kardashian, who's famous for doing a porn and being married to a fucking idiot. I don't have time to discuss that shit with you. You want to talk about how the Redevelopment Commission's stealing millions of fucking dollars every year, and the citizens are too naive to know what the fucking process is, or that it's legal, or that they have the opportunity to fucking, ask for remonstrance? No. It's just because I think differently than you doesn't mean I'm responsible for your fucking money being missing. So I need you to understand that. Because as a disabled person, I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of hearing people assume that I'm some sort of fucking scapegoat for you being so much of a coward that you can't call your own fucking government out for waging war across the entire fucking planet with your goddamn paychecks. Because that's what the fuck the reality is. The reality is I'm a very small factor in the fucking country. There's a percentage of people like me. There's a very large percentage of people like you who fund mass fucking global terror, and my inabilities aren't in that arena at all. So that's basically the gist of this. Apologize, I'm a little heated here. It's very personal to me because I'm 33. Before, after, during my diagnosis, I've heard this my entire life. This is American society. This is how we treat people. This is how it's viewed. Disability means that you're just a piece of shit getting a check, which, another fun tidbit. Naturally, I ended up in prison. I was in Atlanta USP. What I did there was sew together battle dress uniforms for the United States military. It was my slave labor job. I wouldn't call it a job because I didn't fucking get paid, but you know what I mean, right? So, while these soldiers were looking for my freedom in Afghanistan, which happens to be where all the opium's at, and the lithium for your phones, while they were looking for my freedom over there, I was in a cage, literally sewing their fucking battle dress uniforms together. So, my PTSD being questioned, because I'm not a combat veteran, is hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Because I went through a lot more shit locked in a cage, sewing together fucking veterans' uniforms than they did guarding opiate plants from, I don't know, probably Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Their fanatical religious views would not allow United States military to just come in there and fucking have free access to it. They would have to invade that country and take it. But let's talk about PTSD. Oh, by the way, let's talk about welfare recipients. You know who's number one for both? Military wives. Yeah. Fun facts, right? So, you want to talk about your money being missing? You want to talk about disabilities? You want to talk about shit like that? Get your motherfucking facts and get your house in order. That's the reality of it. You need to get your house in order before you open your fucking mouth about what goes on in my brain. Because as far as I know to date, nobody can even fucking explain it. Doctors worldwide, universities everywhere, these motherfuckers are still baffled. So you don't get to blame your missing money on me. And you don't get to blame your missing money on people like me. You don't get to blame your missing money on people who were born with a difference in their brain. Simply because you're too much of a coward to fucking call your government out as basically being funded by its own people to do everything it's doing globally. You have a good fucking day, people.